Hi everyone, this is Professor Dozier. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to spend a few minutes this week giving you some tips and a few last minute guidelines and directions as you are putting the finishing touches on your application project here. I just wanted to point out some of the main features of this assignment, show you some helpful resources, and explain a little bit and show you a few examples of all of the varieties of forms that this project could take. Okay, so I have the direction document up here for you to review along with me. And just to reiterate, I know that you've already read through this, but just to reiterate the main kind of focus here of how you'll be building this project out is you're going to be using at least three scholarly scientific resources to help support the idea for your project, the design, maybe some of the design elements of the project, some of the principles or theories that you've been learning about throughout our time together in the course that are going to help to inform how you build the project out, because that's what we do in the sciences. We have to build upon the work that other people have already put into the field, the other discoveries that other people have already made before us, to help us to know where to go from here and how do we use this information in a meaningful and novel way to go out there in the world and help to solve some novel issues and come up with new solutions for them. So, one of the main features of this project is that I'm giving you some options on how to complete it and what exactly you can do when it comes to putting this together. So, I don't like to micromanage or give you very specific directions for this. So, the directions are vague, a little bit ambiguous on purpose, okay? So, I hope that's not confusing, but I do want to reiterate that. I want you to be able to use your own creative muscles and your own unique perspective on what you've been learning throughout our time together to be able to apply some of the principles and theories you've been learning about to this project. Okay, so there's lots of different forms that this project can take. So, one option you have is to think about creating a resource that can be used for some child population. So, this could be something like writing a piece of children's literature, which is much harder than it sounds. On the front end, that may sound like an easy option, but when it comes to designing and coming up with quality literature for children, we have to make sure that we are investigating what themes we want to expose children to in these pieces. What are some issues, problems, worries, aspects of their environments that children need to see themselves represented in books and in features where they are reading, whether it's a book through a media application or it's a published printed piece of literature. So we have to make sure that we are still referring to the scientific literature to see, how should we develop these pieces for children and what type of themes and issues should they address. It could be something like creating a piece of children's programming. We know that not all children's entertainment is created the same, with the same features and the same, again, themes that are being that we're exposing children to. So maybe it could be coming up with something that's using some best practices. We talked about video deficits effects early in the semester. Any kind of quality programming that's going to show pro-social behaviors, that's going to show features of learning good executive functioning and self-regulatory strategies. So maybe it's some type of entertainment that you want to create or come up with some ideas or some concept art to create. It could be even something like designing a product. So those of us who are parents, those of you who are parents or those of you who work in education already, if you're in classroom settings, most of us have seen, whether we've bought it or someone's bought it for us, we've used a product that at some time or another we look at it and we go, okay, this could be so much better. This could be designed in a way that is much more helpful than it already is, or it's missing some type of setting or feature that would just help it to solve some problems. So think about if you're someone who maybe is more of a systems person, you're someone that really wants to get into engineering, computer science, any type of um, industrial organizational design, human factors, those types of things. That may be something that is a good option for you to think about for this project. So maybe there's something out there that you could think about how you could design it based off of what you know, again, about child development, whether that's something to do with motor, physical development, something to do with cognitive or academic development, or social development, or emotional development. So it could be any number of things, any number of ideas for a prototype or features for a product that could be used to fill a need, fill a niche market that we don't have good examples of so far. Or maybe there is something out there in the market and you think that you have some better ideas of how to improve it. You also have an option here of maybe instead of addressing an issue or a need in a child population, maybe it's something that you want to address in an adult population for individuals who may be living or working with children. So this could be parents or a subcategory of parents, such as foster parents or maybe parents who are considering adoption. It could be non-traditional parents, maybe even grandparents or older siblings or aunts and uncles who find themselves to be guardians or caregivers at some point. These could be for our daycare providers, for members of the community in some way, our medical professionals, educators in and outside of the classroom or in administration levels of education systems. It could be something like a social media endeavor that's going to be able to reach a larger number of individuals that are working with children. It could be a campaign that you could disseminate to a broader audience in some way. And there are obviously lots of issues where parents, educators, members of our communities simply don't know much about child development or how to address it, and understand that there are things that they can be doing within their work environments and personal environments to help benefit the lives and well-being of children. So essentially adult education programs, if you will. And this could also be an educational tool that you may want to think about. So in the first option, you could think of a product for a child, but maybe you have an idea of something that could be very useful for adults to use in the classroom with children. It could be a learning tool, could be something that involves pedagogy for teachers, so a best practices tool that could help them be more efficient and successful in their learning. It could be something that helps educators get better organized or teach different strategies in a different way. Could be something for higher administration levels in an academic system. It could be anything you could think of that may help teachers teach better or parents parent better. It could be something that also integrates both populations. So it could be something that's helping parents work with their children in terms of maybe foreign language, or if those of us who have been homeschooling lately, we know that math is taught very differently. So it could be something that helps parents learn Common Core math. I would definitely buy that product if it was out there. And you also have a third option, which is that you can decide and design a project, a piece or something that fits the mold here for this project. So it could be that there's something that's not listed here that you have a great idea for, and you want to create it and build it out. That's also an option. So these first two options are not a complete, exhaustive list of what you could be doing here. You're going to be sharing your project, and I have some resources here for you. You have a credibility checklist here, so not all sources are created equal online. So when you're looking for your scholarly resources, if you need some help making sure that they are quality and scientific and basis, those are some tips there to help you with that. You also have the TCC library database here. So I generally recommend that students check out PsycArticles or PsycInfo, and these are chronologically, alphabetically organized here. So if you go to P for psychology, and then if you go down, you can select either articles or info. And then these articles are archived here. So you would simply go down here to the settings. You can click on choose databases and actually pull from numerous databases, so we can select info as well, and that would give us a greater pool of articles that is going to populate for us. And we could go down here to full text. That way you get the entire article so you can read through it to see if it's helpful for your purposes for the project. And let's say we're interested in coming up with a campaign for bullying. Okay, and it'll show you all of these common keywords. And let's say I want to look at victimization. There we go. And then this will bring up anything with those keywords. I want to point out that at the bottom here, if it has full text, it will show up here for you. So you could take a look at this. And then I always recommend going through the very first abstract. This first paragraph is called the abstract in an APA style article, and it gives you a summary of the entire article. That way you don't have to read through the entire thing. You could read through the abstract, get an idea of what the variables of interest were, what the hypotheses were, what were their general findings, and then why is this study important? So why is this relevant and meaningful when it comes to understanding more about development? Okay, so that's a little overview there of the database. Okay, and I have a few examples just to show you what students have done in previous semesters. So for example, I have a student last semester who came up with this, almost a blog page on Tumblr that has some nutrition and physical education information for parents and teachers. So it's just sort of sharing lots of great articles here, things on the connection between sleep and nutrition and nutrients that we want children to have adequate amounts of in their diets, and lots of helpful videos and just nice articles that would be helpful for anyone. And then the student also uploaded a list of references they used to create this blog. Here's a good one from a student who is going into education. She came up with this concept art for an app that teachers could use called Pedology, which is sort of a play on the word pedagogy, which is essentially just the study of how do we help students learn better? How do we get teachers to teach better? And so it's this really interesting app here going through different age groups and different resources for teachers who are working with those different age groups. I've also had students in the past put together some great, again, children's literature based off of themes that they feel children should be better represented in, and a list of resources to show, how they built this out, where did they get the ideas for the literature. I have a student who also came up with this really great concept for this integrative approach to coming up with a product that was based off of encouraging quality interactions between parents and children at different age groups by coming up with this computer system that had designed features that collected data from the children in real time. And so the children would play this game, and then parents would get immediate feedback to see how long the children were engaged in the activities, where there could be improvements made. So essentially is that we're all interacting separately on different devices. So this was in a concept here where if we're going to be on these devices separately, why not have something where parents could interact virtually and then be able to use that information to enhance their time together, and also incorporate things like executive functioning and strategies for all sorts of great self-regulatory behaviors. So that's just a few examples here of what this can look like. But again, there's no limit to this. If you have any questions as you are putting the final touches on this, please do let me know. But I always look forward to reviewing these projects. I like to see your minds at work and how you're able to apply all of the concepts that we've been reviewing over the semester. So this isn't meant to stress anybody out. It's meant to be a creative project where you're able to apply these concepts, because that's what psychology is. It's a creative science. We have to create new methods and measures that have never been used before and find ways to engage the populations that we are helping and intervening and preventing risk behaviors with. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to reviewing this soon.